What's good, guys? It's Xavier back again, and today I'm gonna flip a little guitar-based sample type of a Gunna vibe, and I'm also gonna show you guys some more 808 tips. And let me know down in the comments if you think the sound quality is better on this one. I switched up the way I record things. So let me show you guys the sample before anything else.
Cool.
And then for the B section, I just threw halftime on that sample, and then it needed a little bit of high end, so I threw a vintage Mellotron flute on there, and this is what that sounds like. Alright, I got my two-step hats and standard clap. All these drums are linked down below in the Cosmic Deluxe kit. First link in description. What I'm gonna do before I flip the beat is I just want to show you guys some 808 tips. So I'm gonna keep this clap and two-step hats, and I will open up a fresh pattern of 808s. So we got my Tesla 808, looks like this, loaded up. As far as trap beats, this is kind of the pattern you want to build your pattern off of, and it's super simple, but you'll recognize it right away from a ton of trap beats. That's what you want to build your pattern off of. Obviously, you don't want to leave all these notes in every time. You want to take some in and out, and I'll show you guys ways to sauce up those patterns too. So for instance, what you could do is drop these notes out. Space. Another thing you can do is throw little double hits on the 8th note grid right before and after the next hits. For example, right here. The end of the pattern here on this hit, that's also a popular one. So another thing you can do to sauce things up from the basic pattern is select some of these double notes and just throw it up an octave using Shift Option Up once the note is selected. Just make sure you lower the velocity on those higher octave hits, and that's what that would sound like. Something else I like to do when you have a one-shot 808 pulled into the classic mode of Quick Sampler, what you can do is make sure this envelope is set like a square and it's on mono in the polyphony. It lets you drop the MIDI notes out so that the note will cut off when the MIDI note ends, and I'll show you guys an example of that right here. It adds a little bit more bounce and syncopation to the pattern. Sometimes too is go Shift Option Down and throw that last bounce note down an octave and make sure it's super short like this. And it's usually lower than you would put 808 notes typically, but it does sound good as a little transition note, and that sounds like this. So those are a couple of the ways you can mess with that basic 808 pattern. As long as you use the notes in the pattern sparingly, you'll pretty much guarantee a hard trap beat as long as you stick to that formula. Alright, and let's get into this flip. Before I start anything up, I just want to show you guys that I have the root notes drawn out of the sample. Just kind of follows a pretty simple pattern. As you can see, I drew out the root notes so that each hit lands on one of those 808 notes in the pattern setup like I just showed you guys. So here's the basic pattern. If you notice, these root notes land on one of those notes. Line up with it perfectly. Let's get into this beat flip. Let's throw in a snare. that'll pretty much do it for the drums for this hook section. And then let's move on to this verse. Create a similar bounce to the hook, but maybe a little bit less populated. Hard. Here's that verse section all ready to go. One more thing I want to show you guys is that I have a longer 808 pulled up. I just dragged that same bass MIDI down to this 808, and even with drawn out 808s, the rhythm pattern I've showed you guys still applies and sounds good. Show you guys a final beat preview at the end of the video. Just want to say, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and stay up to date because I'll be back next Friday with a fresh video.